All right, welcome to another DFW Running Talk. I'm Chris Detzel, and today's special guest is Nick Pencil. Nick, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Chris?
Doing well, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
So we're live from Park Plaza in Boston, the day before the Boston Marathon. A lot of people are coming up, getting these interviews, and Nick, I again really appreciate you coming on. And you have a wild story. To me, it's wild. When did you start running? First of all, when did that happen?
I think I started running back in all the way back to fourth grade, I think is when I started. We had like a little, it was kind of almost like rec track,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So we had like mini track meets every once in a while. And I would honestly do really well. And then one of the practices, I was just like, one of the coaches was like, do a mile, do another one.
Yeah.
And I just kept going. And that's kind of where I think I first discovered I was both good at running and I liked it.
Yeah.
Because I was doing so well. Then I fell into soccer, which I really love soccer.
Do a lot of running for soccer.
You do a lot of running. So there was a massive pipeline from soccer to cross country in high school. So I was like, oh, cross country is a sport. I'm going to join the cross country team and see how I do.
Okay.
And so that went really well. So I started.
Did you do that in high school, cross country?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in high school, you ran cross country and you were pretty good, or?
Yeah, I was all right. So my freshman year, I was middle of the pack.
Okay.
Running like a 19-minute 5K as a freshman.
Yeah.
But then sophomore year, junior year, and senior year is where it really came to me, and I started running in the 17-minute 5K.
Wow.
range.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, you did some cross country and,
Yeah.
and, we won't get deep into that, but I do think that's important to know. Now, when did you get into marathon running? When did that happen?
Oh, so that happened when I first joined the group back in September of 2024.
Which group is this?
Pegasus.
Okay. Train Pegasus. Got it.
Joined Train Pegasus. Yeah. So I actually joined because I was playing Ultimate Frisbee at the time with some friends in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm out of shape. So I need this.
Exactly.
I'm in shape. And I realized, oh, this is a marathoning group. Peer pressure sometimes has a bad connotation. Yeah. In this sense, I think it was a really good thing was like, this is a really positive group. They cheer you on in everything you do. And
Yeah.
I'm going to give the marathon a shot. Why not?
And how'd you find Train Pegasus? Just online or something?
Yeah, just online. Yeah.
And you're 24, right?
I am 24.
I think we're young. All right. So you got into the training, and when did you run your first marathon? Which one was it?
So I ran my first marathon in September of 25. So almost 1 year on the dot later.
Okay. That was
I
just
joined Pegasus.
about a year ago or less.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I was supposed to do the Carmel Marathon in April of 24, but that got canceled due to storms.
Got it. And so how'd you do on your first marathon?
I did really good. I ran a 4 marathon.
Your first marathon, you ran at 2:44?
Yeah, it was really good. I was honestly really surprised. So I was telling myself going into it, 2:48 is the goal.
Okay, so you still wanted to run fast?
I still run fairly fast. I come through the half and I look at my watch and I see 1:23, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can shoot faster for 2:48.
What's your best half?
My best half at that time was a 1:19 at Dallas.
Got it. 1:23 is pretty quick for, marathons.
Yeah.
All right. And then, was just qualifying for Boston. Was that just, hey, you obviously qualified, because I think it's 3 hours for 24 or, yeah.
It was 2:55.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then you had the cutoff on top of it.
That's right. So you easily hit it, though. So that's pretty cool. Well, how are you feeling now? How's been training been going since you qualified for Boston?
So back a week after Houston, so I think it was around January 21st, I actually injured my IT bands.
Oh, no.
And so I had to stop running for about, I think, 5 to 6 weeks of no training. So finally, back in early March, I was cleared to start training again. So it was a very quick ramp up for 3 weeks of intense ramp up and training. And then I only had 2 weeks of taper. So,
okay. So, it's a kind of a, so what's your goal then? What do you?
So my goal is still to run like a 2:48-ish.
Okay.
So I ran the Irving half back 21st, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And I ended with a 1:17 there, which I was really impressed and happy with.
Yeah.
So
I would say
that helps give me an idea of, I felt like, where I was.
Yeah.
And gives me an idea of where I want to be at Boston.
Something I didn't ask you is, what do you think about Boston? What's kind of going into your first one? What's the emotion like? How you feeling? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I think I'm feeling very calm right now. I was having lunch with my parents and just like a wave of nerves and anxiety just kind of hit me like, wow, I'm in Boston. I'm about to run
Yeah.
one of the biggest races in the world tomorrow. And so it's a lot of walking. I'm not used to walking a lot. So
Yeah.
I like feel that a little bit, but I think it'll be fine. Everything will work out. And
Are you resting today at least?
I'm resting today
Okay.
a lot, just
All right.
laying in bed, sitting, doing anything to stay off the legs.
Yeah. Smart. Are you staying in the Park Plaza or what?
I am staying in
Okay.
Park Plaza. Yeah.
That works out. Tell me a little bit about, what the running community has meant to you, through this process.
It's meant a lot and almost everything to me. I moved to Dallas, knowing nobody, just with a job offer. So thankfully I had a job when I moved to Dallas from Indiana. When I found the group, I was like, who are these people? Okay, I'll just start running with them,
Yeah.
seeing where it goes from there. And then it turns out they've become my greatest friends in Dallas, and I've met a few other really close friends
Yeah.
that I hang out consistently, not just on runs, but now outside of runs, just regularly on the weekends.
That's pretty awesome, man. And just what you've built just from moving and getting into a running community and then running
Yeah.
amazingly fast. So what is, as you kind of go in here, what's your thinking for 2026 Boston Marathon, your first one? Are you soaking it up? Are you enjoying it? Are you listening to others to kind of, what are some things that you've been trying to think about?
So the biggest source of knowledge for me has been Jill Wolfe. She's very knowledgeable. She's run a lot of Bostons. So I'm listening to her on the things to do, things not to do, as well as just generic marathon advice that applies to all of them. And then I always try and go in the mindset with there's always another race. This helps me calm down and not put a lot of pressure on any other race. Although it is Boston and you're here, you're spending a decent chunk of money and effort to get here. There's always pressure, especially on the marathon, no matter what you're running. Like if you've trained for it, there's always some pressure to perform. If you just keep in mind there's another race, I think it's a little easier and less nerve-wracking.
And I think that's very good advice because, right now, none of us are doing it professionally and we're not getting paid to do this. And so, my wife used to always say this all the time is be kind to yourself. It's okay if you have good, bad, or whatever race, there's always a race tomorrow. And I think that's, something that you have to think about, look, things happen in life and, if we all have full-time jobs
Exactly.
and we're doing other things, and a marathon is, we don't know what's going to happen. You could have your best, cycle and things like that might be really, any kind of advice kind of going into this that, hey, qualifying for Boston or, running your first marathon or I don't know, any kind of thoughts kind of going into that, that maybe impart on others?
I think the biggest thought to me is just find people to run with. I think that's the biggest thing. I personally really hate running alone.
Yeah.
Almost to the point where if I'm not with someone, I will miss a run.
Yeah.
So just finding people to run with and enjoy it, because otherwise it's just going to be super tedious at times.
I said this one time, I was like, when you're running those 20 miles, 22 miles, even 10 miles for me, it's not really all that fun to do it by yourself, not for me. And most people, I know some people will say, yeah, I only like to run alone. Well, you're not the majority. The majority is find some friends to run with. It'll help you get better, smarter, and it keeps you accountable, I think so.
Totally.
Well, Nick, it's been really good. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you all for tuning in to another DFW Running Talk. Go to dfwrunningtalk.substack.com and subscribe to our newsletter. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
It was awesome, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.